Today, we are going to be starting to make tamales. We're getting close to Christmas, and it's middle of November, and this is about the time that we've been making tamales for the last 10 or 12 years, maybe longer. I got all the ingredients here, and we're going to try to show you how to make these tamales. The first thing I usually do is I cut an onion. I quarter it. And I wrap it in a cheesecloth. Yeah, I put everything in a cheesecloth and.
You gonna do 2 cheesecloths?
Yeah. And I put some garlic in there, just dump them in there. And I put a couple of bay leaves. I don't know if anybody else does it, but I've been doing it for 10 years or so. Bay leaves.
And his is the best.
And since I don't have I was looking for peppercorns. I don't have any, so I'm just gonna put a lot of pepper, and hopefully it'll stay inside the cheesecloth. That's enough. And I'm just gonna wrap this up. I don't know.
Okay.
The pepper went right through.
It's okay. We always had pepper.
Okay, that's good.
Why don't we get a pair of scissors?
I got it here. Easy. Just leave it like that.
You're the man.
Okay?
Okay.
And then next thing we do is get the meat. And this is a pork shoulder, and this particular one pretty heavy. It's almost 11 pounds. And now what we're going to do is cut it in chunks, so it'll cook faster. And we just start cutting it. There's a lot of fat on this one, so we'll try to trim the fat off. Yeah, we leave a little fat. This fat will come off when it's cooking, and we're going to use the broth for when we make the masa. So we'll leave a little fat here. Then we'll cut it in pieces. It's about ½ inch. Okay, I just toss it in a pot. I think last year it took me a little while to cut it. Well, see, I still got a little bit to go here on this first roast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish cutting it and put it in this first pot, and then I'll get back to you when it's ready to go in the stove.
Now he's cut all the meat, and it's put into the pot, and we're going to add water to this. And he can put in his onions now on top.
There you go. You can put them in.
Okay, and they just get pushed right on the top. And do I put the water over the onions?
Yeah, go about that much over.
Oh, okay, so it's going to go pretty far up in the top. And that was onions, garlic, bay leaves, and pepper.
Okay, that
looks good?
Yeah.
Okay. And Art's got salt.
Well, I usually put it in when it's boiling, but I could do it now. I just put I don't measure, I just sort of put about a tablespoon. And maybe a little more. Okay, and now I'm gonna move it over to the stove. Okay. And it's pretty heavy, so. And I'm turning burners on to high. Once it starts to boil, we're gonna cover it and let it simmer for maybe 2 hours. All we have to do now is just sit back and drink a beer and maybe start getting the chili sauce ready.
Christmas is all about family.
Getting together, celebrating,
Opening presents together.
spending time with family,
enjoying the food and the cookies.
getting the extra time to spend with my puppy dog.
Well, Christmas is it's a time for shopping. No, not really. Now we're getting ready to make the chili sauce for the tamale meat. And I'm using dry pods, and these are pasillas and New Mexico and California. And I just mix them all together and I rinse them off because there's no telling what they have, a lot of dirt maybe. So I just rinse them off, a quick rinse. My mom used to do this, but a lot of times she used chili las palmas, believe it or not. What we're gonna do is take out the seeds in here. Inside these seeds, they have a stem and then they have a lot of seeds. And you don't want to eat seeds with chili sauce. And I would just, these are clean. And there's the last batch. And we'll just rinse them. Okay, so they're rinsed. Okay, after I rinse these chili pots, what I do is I slit them down the middle and I try to open them and see if there's any seeds in there. See, there's a bunch of seeds there. And we rinse them off. And that's that. And I think that should do it. Yeah, it's time consuming. Maybe 20 minutes for these, with Jackie's help. I still have a few to go, so I'll see you when I'm all done. These two pots have been boiling for about 30 minutes, and now they're starting to simmer. The scum from the meat has started to go to the surface, so we have to remove it. And we just get a tablespoon, skim all the crud off the top of the meat. You don't want this stuff to go in your tamales. Every time you cook any kind of meat or boil, you always get the scum. You might have to do it more than one time. And then once it starts to boil, you're gonna lower the heat down to medium high, and then I'll put the lid on it and just leave a little bit of opening. So this one here is a little bit bigger. It's gonna take a little longer. Yeah, it's simmering. I can cover it at this time. Leave a little opening. I'll come back every 5 minutes or so to see if there's any more scum. After maybe 25 minutes, it'll clear up. Okay, now we seeded, and I rinsed off all the seeds off the chili pods. And what I do is just toast them for a couple of seconds so they'll release more flavor. And I got a hot pan here. I'm ready to start toasting them, and it goes pretty quick because I only toast them for a couple of seconds. Because if you do it any longer, they get bitter. The flavor gets bitter. In a couple of seconds on each side. And 5 seconds, that's enough. And you can smell the flavor coming out of the chili pots. So I'll just keep doing that, and I got a few here to do, so a few seconds on each side. You don't want to do it too long. Okay, and then you flip it over. See? Okay, that's it. Now that these chili pods are toasted and they have a beautiful aroma, they smell good. They're sweet. They smell sweet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in this pot. There's a lot of them. The colors change when they were toasted. And then I'm just going to fill it up with a little bit of water just to cover the chilies. We're starting winter here in Las Vegas, and the water gets mighty cold. There you go. It's almost there. We're gonna put it over medium-high heat. And I'm gonna get it nice and hot for about 10-15 minutes. So the skins will be nice and soft, pliable. I'm gonna strain them then and save the liquid. and I'm gonna use the liquid in the food processor with the pods, and then I'm gonna make a puree. I just gotta wait until it comes to a little simmer, and I'll 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it's ready for the processor.
I've always thought Christmas is magical. You'll probably see all the decorations that I put up. My favorite's my big Santa Claus. I've had him for years. And then, of course, Art likes his nativity scene. And I love putting up our tree. It's always been a wonderful time of year.
Next step in this process of making chili sauce for the tamales, I got them in this pot, as you can see, and now they're real soft. And I'm going to put them in the food processor, like so. See? it's kind of messy. Okay, one more. And I put a little bit of the liquid. Can I have a paper towel? Too many beers. Okay, here we go. Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna take it out. And then we're gonna run it through this
You
strainer.
need a spatula to check it?
Yeah, that's good. So what you're looking for is a nice smooth puree, like so.
Just straining it and just,
And then we're running through a fine strainer, making sure that there's no skins or seeds, and
and it's coming out
coming out smooth.
very smooth.
It's
Can you
sauce.
see that? Okay.
Now that I ran the chili pods through the food processor, we got a smooth puree there. And now we have to cook it to get all the raw taste out of it and give it extra flavor. So I put it in a 1/4 cup of oil in this hot pan. And then I'm going to add a little garlic. And then I'm going to start adding 8 tablespoons of flour. It's like making gravy. Just keep stirring it till it thickens, and then it get all the raw taste out of the flour. Oh, getting lumpy. This stuff. And that should be about right. And it's cooking, and it's the raw flavor is getting out of there. I think that's good enough. It's nice and toasted. And now I guess we can start adding this chili. Ooh, that's a lot. Then we just cook it. Mix it in with the flour mixture. The heat is a medium-low. We have to put salt. How about and this is my secret ingredient. I can't show it to nobody. Trader Joe's. It's got everything in it. 21 easy. Okay, after this is cooked a little bit, 8 or 10 minutes, some of it's going to go into the meat, and some of it is going into the masa when we start mixing the masa. Needs more salt. Yeah, the other flavors are there. Good.
Tamales!
Tamales!
Especially Auntie Jackie's tamales and Uncle Art's tamales. Those are the best tamales ever
I don't eat tamales often, but when I do, they're only made by Art.
because they're so delicious. And some of his amazing salsa. delicious.
One of the things that we really miss are the tamales that Art and Jackie used to make.
So I fly from San Francisco the day after Christmas to come and pray that nobody's eaten all the tamales.
But what I really miss the most is having tamales on Christmas Eve with my mom and dad and my sisters.
I took the pot of cooked meat off the stove, and now I'm gonna start taking the meat out, straining it a little bit, and then I'm gonna put it on this
Just
board.
not too much for me.
Okay, and then put a little bit over here, and then we're gonna start shredding it.
As you can see, it shreds very easily, so it comes apart pretty fast with 2 forks.
It's like pulled pork.
And if you see a piece of fat, dump it.
Dump it, yeah. So after we pull the pork and put it in an aluminum pan, we get a little more. And look.
We're going to probably end up making anywhere between 10 and 15 dozen. So that's a lot of tamales.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a lot of hands here tomorrow to help. We usually take the first 2 dozen of the tamales that we make tomorrow. And everybody who has helped us make tamales gets a tamale dinner tomorrow night. Then the rest is saved for Christmas Eve. And then after that, whoever visits. So folks that live in the Bay, come see us.
Yeah.
We'll have tamales ready for you.
This is last of the meat for this batch. And then we're gonna give it the chili sauce and let it marinate overnight.
Should I put some in now and you
Sure,
can start
go ahead.
mixing?
Yeah. That's a lot of meat.
It's okay. Tell me when, Art.
Okay, so let's start mixing.
You gotta leave some of this for the masa too,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Put a little more. Okay, that's good. You could do it with your hands, but it's too hot. See how? See, it's already mixed in. See? What do you think?
I think it looks good. And then, of course, it goes in the refrigerator overnight. And if it dries out a little bit, Art will just add some more broth to it.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for that one.
I am filling this pot up with really hot water because we're gonna throw these in, and as they soak overnight, they're gonna become really soft, where we're gonna be able to make the tamales. And I have to do it in the tub because this pot's so big, there's no other place to do it. So, and I soak them overnight so they're nice and soft in the morning. And then as people start coming in to make the tamales, I start pulling these out and we start drying them out. So this process is long and tedious. That's what has to be done. So I've got 3 bags of these to go through. So I'm going to continue doing this and I'll see you in the morning. We're back again. This is the next day now, and we're getting ready to make tamales. So they're all soaked overnight in this hot water, and believe it or not, it's still warm in there. What I do is I take out maybe 2, and I have to dry them off. We try to dry them off as much as we can and throw them in the bin. So I'm gonna finish this big bucket, and we'll see you at the table.
Now that we've got the meat prepared, we're gonna get the masa ready. And we bought prepared masa at the Mexican store, and we're gonna start putting it in the KitchenAid here to save us a lot of manual labor. And we're gonna add a little chili sauce in the masa to give it a little color, and we're gonna thin it out a little bit with the broth that came out from cooking the meat. And if necessary, we'll put a little salt and maybe a little baking powder, so the masa will be a little more fluffier when it cooks.
So now I'm gonna put this masa in this machine. You want to use the paddle.
You think that's enough?
Do you?
It depends on the power.
Stop right there.
You want to put a little bit?
How much?
Just a little bit. That's enough.
Okay.
And then
I'm gonna start it up.
yeah. Really good. In the old days, they used to do it by hand, the masa, in a big tub, and they'd be there for hours beating the thing. Give it a little taste. I think it's salty.
Salty enough?
Yeah, you taste it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we mix the first batch of the masa, to find out if it's ready to be used for tamales, we take a little bit of the masa and we drop it in cold water. And if it floats to the top, it's ready. So
Not quite.
not quite.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, let's try it again. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah, it's ready.
Yeah.
Some people put a little bit more lard, but where I got the masa, they put a lot of lard in there. Okay, so this is ready, and that's it. We're ready to assemble making tamales.
I do it the easy way. Masa, meat, olive. See, mine's easy. Roll, fold.
I like to do it how Jackie says because when you fold it up like that, it makes it easier to take it out after it's cooked.
I've done them both. And I think I like my mom's way just because it's easier.
I like to fold it up before I roll it, just so it looks nicer, so that it's in a little pouch.
Here we are, ready to assemble our tamale. We take our husk, and they might be a little wet still from getting out of the water, so I just make sure my husks are dry. So I get my masa, and I start spreading it like 2 or 3 inches from the bottom of the husk. And you do not have to be frugal on this. You can, because the more you have in there, the fluffier they get. So, and a lot of people like that. I know my mother did. She liked the masa in these things. So that's about where I put the masa. And then we add the meat and put it right directly in the middle of the husk. And my children request that it's really meaty. So then we get 2 olives and we put it into the middle. And then what I do is I just roll it on both ends and I tighten it as much as I can. And I flip this part up. And there is your homemade tamale. Now we put our tamales together And we always, as a family tradition, we always cook the first 2 dozen tamales because the crew needs to eat. So I put water in a pot about maybe an inch and a half. And actually I have a basket here, so I kind of look to see if the water is coming into the basket. Still a little bit more. All right, there we go. Little trickles of water are coming up. So before I do that, I throw 3 pennies in the bottom of my pot. And the reason why I do that is so we can hear the water boiling. And when those pennies stop, that means you're out of water and you need to replace that water or else you're gonna burn your tamales. We have 2 dozen tamales that have just been made. So we're gonna stick them in the pot upward. I'm gonna try to get all these 2 dozen in one pot. I'm gonna just put them right on top, these 2. All right, so after we put the tamales in the pot, we are going to put the foil and get it inside the pot. We are going to put the lid on. And then we are going to take this big pot and I'm going to move it over to the stove and turn it on to high right now until it starts to boil. Once it starts to boil and you'll hear the pennies, we will go ahead and turn the heat down to medium and just let them cook for about an hour to an hour and a half, and then I'll be back to test them.
Everybody's invited.
Everybody's invited here, but that's what makes Christmas Christmas.
Yeah.
1994, that was the first year that we started having the tamales.
Yeah.
And we've always kept the tradition because we still have our big tamale feast. I just want my children to be able to continue it if you can.
Yeah.
Because someday we're not going to be here. Take this and run with it.
Yeah. Hi kids, this is Uncle Art, or Tio Art, or Tata Art.
No, Dad.
This is Dad. Okay, okay, here we go.
Sure this is on correctly. Hold on, let's make sure it's in the right spot.
Yeah, we'll make it in batches. Okay, ready?
Go.
Oh, hi, back again. Next step in this process of making chili sauce.
I know my mother did. She liked the masa in these things. So if she didn't have enough masa, she'd complain. And I don't want to hear my mother complain.
Christmas means about family, and then my sister and brother-in-law moved to Las Vegas, and I haven't had tamales since they moved there.
Why don't you sound a little bit more bitter?
We're gonna take it over to the assembly table, where all the yokels are anxiously waiting to make tamales.
This little Italian does not like wooden spoons. I don't like them. I am filling this pot up with really hot water because we're going to throw these in separately. So I have to go through a lot of husks, and I've got to, and as they soak overnight, they're going to become really soft, where we're going to be able to use them to wrap the masa and the meat in with the olive and to make the tamales.
So what are we looking for?
Like a smooth puree. Ready?
Maybe you can say that whole statement.
Like that, see?
Say, so what you're looking for is...
Art, say it.
Oh, smooth.
So what you're looking
smooth,
for? No.
Tell them because they don't know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
So what you're looking for? Start
Okay,
with that.
just a nice, smooth.
Start with what you're looking for.
I'm looking for a.
No. Say to me.
So what
I
you're
would be if I was making this.
Oh, okay.
Say so what you're looking for. Tell them that.
So what you're looking for is a nice, smooth, crushed blend, like so. And it's going to be a miracle.